All right. Perfect. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing summer shows again. Woo!
Woo! It's good to be back.
Good to be back. It's been
It's,
a couple of months.
it's good. It's been a
Months?
couple of weeks, so it's
Couple of
good to
weeks.
have the show back on the road with
Thank
my
you.
guest Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you for like showing us your man cave. Yeah.
Yep, yeah. It's a cool little man cave. I mean, it's obviously I like comics and cartoons and stuff. So I have put
Uh-huh.
some things on the back of my back wall. So there are a few things that you can't see. I have a Star Wars. Um, let's see. Okay, I have this like it's like my Death Star clock. I don't know if you can
Okay.
see it clearly. So
Cool.
hanging up there too. Yeah,
Cool.
it's been cool to have all my nicks and knacks kind of like I have my wife got me this. It's a Captain. It's a metal. I don't know if you can see. It's made out of metal.
Uh-huh.
The
Oh, it's like
Captain
a
America.
metal art thing.
Yeah,
I see.
she got this from China. So
She got it from China, of all places.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So.
maybe the toy is like designed for the white tourists to take home to the USA
Probably,
because the
probably.
Chinese people will never buy that.
Yeah, yeah. She was like, yeah, summer like this, so I mean, anyway, so it's kind of like fun to have my stuff kind of here. My pet. I don't have a pet rock. How's your pet
Uh-huh.
rock doing, by the way?
It's just sitting there.
Has he grown?
It's just sitting there, sitting there patiently, waiting for my watering to happen. So, uh, by the way, thank you for not blurring the background because I know I'm blurring the background right now, but I just have wall back there, so I don't
Oh
have much to
no, no,
show
no.
off.
I know. I
So,
mean, I see a lot of like I follow some YouTube people that do like comics and stuff, talk about comics and talk about movies and stuff, and they always have all of
right.
this stuff on their walls, and I'm like, you know what? If they can do it, I mean, I guess I can do it. So,
Perfect.
so, so
So,
what's been going on with you? A lot of podcasts. Happy Chinese New Year. Is that correct? I don't know how to say it.
yeah, Chinese New Year is the 24th. 24th, so it's coming up.
It's coming up.
Yeah. So it's my zodiac year. It's a year of the mouse.
Uh
You
huh.
know, and it is a big deal. And then my mom is like threatening me to get like red underwear, or else she's gonna send me some.
See that one? Red underwear?
Yeah.
Well,
So
I mean, not that you can like show it off.
yeah, right. Or we're gonna get banned by like YouTube. But so like here's a backstory, right? So, you know, do you know about the Chinese zodiacs, right? Like you are born in one year and then you are the year of the mouse or the ox or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just the other day we went to this place called Tokyo, not Tokyo Towers, Tokyo something. It's in Sugar House. It's Tokyo Teriyaki or something.
Right, right, right.
And she was like, "Here's a calendar. Here's a Chinese calendar if you want for free." I was like, "Sure, I'll take it."
Uh-huh.
And it had all the zodiac signs, the tiger and the
Right,
mouse and the
right,
pig, and So
right.
so go on. Tell us a little bit more about are they where do these zodiac signs come from?
So the zodiacs are a way to track the weathers, right? There's like 18 of them. So what that means is, did the camera just went out on me?
Yeah, I think the camera just went out. I can still hear you fine. I just can't see you.
That's weird. Okay, let's see. All right, we're back on. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Now you're back. So.
I I don't know why I did that, but we are back on. Perfect. So like there are 18 of them, and I'm sure there has something to do with like the Book of E or something. But
Well,
so the
book of
idea,
what is
yeah.
book of?
So the Book of E is like in Chinese we call it Yi Jing, right? So
Yi
it's
Jiang?
something that yeah, it's something that we can predict the future with, or we can predict the
Oh, okay.
weather. It's like it's a very, very unique type of ancient writing that
Mm-hmm.
very few people today truly understand it. Um, but there's like different things, like different elements, right? Like the wood, the fire, the dirt, the water. Those are all coming from those kind of things. So zodiac belongs to that kind of things. So
Okay.
so there's 12 zodiacs, right? So a person will have their zodiac year when they're hitting age 12, 24, 36, and 48, right?
Is it always in multiples of 12? Like
Yeah,
12, 24,
because
36, only
yeah,
multiples of 12. Okay.
because there are 12 zodiacs, right? So
That's how it kind of circles
when
around. Yeah.
yeah, so when you were born I was born in 96, it was year of the mouse, and it will be a mouse again when I'm 12, when I'm 24, right? So I'll be 24 this year.
Oh,
So
okay.
so the
Yay,
idea
24.
Yeah, 24. So the idea here is really simple, is that whenever it's your zodiac year where the Chinese people are supposed to wear red, is because during that day, during the Chinese New Year day, like
Uh-huh.
based on the lunar calendar, then what's gonna happen is the zodiac ghosts, or you call it the zodiac, spirits, will
Uh,
hunt every single person that has the same zodiac sign down
oh,
to
okay.
to like to either like harass them or eat them or something like that, you know.
Oh,
So
so not to
so we
help
are
them, but to like, not
yeah
to help them, but almost to like harm them.
yeah yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So what people do to scare off your own zodiac, spirits, is to wear red. Like I mean, like all red. Like you know, red underwear, red socks, red pants, red clothes. Like the more red that you wear, the more you can scare off the ghost or the your zodiac, a spirit or something. You
Basically,
know.
you'll be the Chinese Santa Claus.
Yes. I'll be the Chinese Santa Claus. But I haven't been going shopping yet, so we'll see. Um, so that's kind of like the background of like Chinese zodiac history. So, and it's my zodiac year, so I was like, okay, cool. I will at least wear something red during Chinese New Year. So,
So what do you think about? I mean, clearly you're gonna wear red. You said.
uh-huh.
So, do you believe in this superstition?
No,
Uh, then why are you going to wear red?
it's it's just something in the culture, you know.
Okay.
It's like the same thing. Like people like to take photos with the Santa Claus and say, "Hey, Santa will drop presents for you," and then
Hmm.
their parents give the kids presents, right? It's the same thing. Like you don't have to believe in it, but it's like a cultural norm that you have to do it, kind of a situation.
Oh, gotcha. Is there something like what are some other traditions that other than wearing red that as Chinese you do at New Year's? Like, do you eat some special food? Do you like go to
Yeah,
some shrines? Like, what else? What are some other things that or some other things Kevin will do this New Year, this Chinese New
I
Year?
I probably just have some dumplings at my place, to be honest. I'm I'm not gonna because like here in Salt Lake, like there's not really that much festivities, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
right? Like I went to the Chinatown, like you probably saw it on my Instagram, right? They have
Yep.
fireworks, and then they put up a show, like people are singing and dancing at the center entrance of the Chinatown, which I was on my way to shopping, which I have to fight through ocean of people just to get to shop. And then the music was super loud and I was annoyed by it. And then they and then they didn't really hire Chinese people to like perform. They hired a bunch of like Polynesian people to do like the Hawaii
Oh,
dance. And I was like,
oh,
isn't this supposed to be a Chinese New Year or is that a Polynesian New Year? Jesus Christ. But anyway, so like you have some of those things happening once in a while, but overall, like, it's really not festive here. You don't really have that kind of an environment. So
Have you is like in California and some other places, like New York, they have like bigger
yeah,
celebrations and gotcha.
that's probably true. Like yeah, you see the dancing lions, right, like, up and
Yeah,
down, right, the dancing dragons. Yeah, but they'll probably do it, but here in Salt Lake, probably not. So
gotcha. Very interesting. Are you gonna make those dumplings or buy them or probably buy them?
probably by then because if I'm making dumplings by myself, it's gonna take me 5 hours from start to finish. That's the last time that I did it. It took me 5 hours. So
Do you make everything from scratch, like even
yeah,
the
everything from
pastry or
scratch.
whatever? Can you not
Yeah,
just buy the pastry and just put whatever filling you want in it and just
you
save
can.
yourself
Then
a few hours?
why bother? I don't know. It's like if you want to make it, then you make it from scratch. If you don't want to make it, you buy them from frozen aisles at Chinatown. I don't know. Like
Yeah, no, fair enough. I
if
mean,
I'm making it, then I'm making it. Like I'm going all the way. So
yeah, you're
so
hardcore,
yeah,
hardcore.
I'm
That's
hardcore.
awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
So Chinese New Year next week, I think the 24th. So
So everybody, wish Kevin a happy Chinese New Year's and send him a lot of red.
yeah, if you have anything red, please send it to me. And if you know anybody that is Chinese or have Chinese roots, to tell them, hey, happy Chinese New Year next week. You
How do
know,
you say it in Chinese?
how do I say in Chinese?
Yes.
新年快乐 or 春节快乐, something like
Oh,
that.
go slow. I'm gonna try
Chun,
to repeat it.
okay, 春节好.
祝你节好.
There you go. Yeah.
Close enough.
Uh, yeah, close enough. Close enough.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sweet. So that's all. Like, do you drink something? You gonna pair it with your $12 wine?
Probably not. I'm probably just gonna have some dumplings and call it a day, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Um, yeah, because like like people on Chinese New Year, they tune into like the TV, because like the government put on like galas and whatnot, like shows and dances. But when that's happening, it's like 4 a.m. here, like
Oh
5 a.m.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so like I want to watch it, and then like it's more about like having the family together than
Uh
me
huh.
celebrating by myself. You know.
Yeah. Most like even a lot of Indian traditions are
Yeah.
more about like families gathering together or communities gathering together to celebrate it instead of just one person or just one family just doing something. So yeah, I
Yeah,
can totally kind
because
of.
because correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because Indian culture, you guys go by the lunar calendar too, right?
Yeah,
Kind of.
exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. So and a lot of like festivals are are based both Indian as in Hindu festivals and Muslim festivals, are both based on a lunar calendar,
Mm-hmm.
and both of them involve like gathering in groups and like having a good time or celebrating something. Or food is a big thing that usually
Right.
happens. Dancing, Diwali, you firecrackers for like 7 days kind of thing.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
uh,
Same thing.
same thing. So that's
So
that's that's cool.
do you guys
Go.
have something similar, like for like Hindu festival or something that had like the end of the old calendar year and start of a new calendar year, either lunar calendar or other festivals like Chinese New Year?
You know, hmm. I'm not. Man, I'm trying to think, and nothing comes to my mind. As
Mm-hmm.
I know, at least I feel like Muslims don't really have some kind of a New Year. Hindus might, but I don't think it's as big as any of the other ones that we celebrate, like Diwali.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, where it's like people go crazy and people drink and food and firecrackers and dancing and or colors, the holy festival of colors.
Right.
Probably not as big. It's just yeah. So I think we do so many things the rest of the year that it's like we're tired. So
Right. Right.
we're gonna
So you don't
do
have
this.
something
We're
to
gonna
say
be our
today.
best.
Okay.
But that's interesting. So
Yeah.
New Year's,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you talked about this in your previous podcast. You talked about resolutions. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Uh-huh.
Um, talk me through those again,
Okay.
just to
Do you
refresh people, refresh myself.
do you have a resolution too? Do you want to share after I share?
I will tell you what I've decided about resolutions.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Perfect. Are you still keeping them? Are you still doing what you say what you're gonna do?
Probably in a way.
All right. All right. Cool. So, my New Year resolution, like I think I had like four of them.
Hmm.
The first one was trying to meditate every single day. Mindfulness meditation. 10 minutes, or when I'm in the hot sauna, maybe like 30 minutes.
Hmm.
I try to do it every single day that I wake up for like 10 minutes, just to like get my day started. So I crawl out of bed and I go into my meditation room, sit on the mat, and then just do 10 minutes, pretty much.
Hmm.
So I try to
Are
do
you
that
going to be
every single
doing
day.
meditation updates for us in the coming months, or
Yeah,
is that something you
I
want to keep private?
I just recorded a update. It's gonna come out like end of January. So
Okay.
so so the
You
update I'm gonna
recorded
tell you
that at
right
the
now.
beginning of January.
No, I recorded like yesterday.
That's the beginning of January. You're going to have it come out at the end of January. That's a lot of delay.
No, it is a okay. It is an update, right? So like the update pretty much says is that I'm start doing the hot sauna. After
Uh-huh.
I'm done at the gym, I go in there for like 20 minutes for like the health benefits.
Hmm.
Um, that correlates to my next resolution is I want to officially kickstart my 120 euro project this year. You know.
Yeah, very fascinating. And we can talk about it a bit later, but go on. I'll let you
Yeah.
continue with the
So
resolutions.
yeah, so that kind of correlates with that, because whenever I'm going to the gym, I'm working out, then I want to work out physically and mentally as well. So hence the meditation in the hot sauna. And hot sauna correlates to the 120 euro project because they give you health benefits, right? So those are the two. I think the third one is I'm gonna continue doing my 100 books challenge this year. Meaning that I will flip through or have access to 100 books by the end of this year. Last year I ended at 77, I do believe. I flipped through 77. I finished 8 books from front cover to back cover, and then the rest I just either lost interest, or I give up on them. So
Just with that, so that goal seems to be really big.
hmm
However, when you put it like, oh, I'm just gonna flip through books, that makes it sound that almost seems like a cop out, like that you could just flip through 2 books and
hmm
call it 2 books. So, how many books will you read front to cover?
I will read every single book from the beginning. But the thing is, because I'm trying to talk to Joffrey about this too, is that
Hmm.
you don't have to have the obligation to finish a book. Because if you
Okay.
have the obligation to finish a book, then it become a punishment. It
Hmm.
become a sentence, right? Like for me, if the book lost my interest, it lost my interest, right?
Okay. Fair enough.
So like the thing is I don't read that much fiction. I don't read fiction at all. Like I think I read maybe 2 fiction books last year, and I didn't finish any of them.
Hmm.
I just
I mean, so probably this year you might not pick up any. Yeah, who knows?
yeah yeah I just interested. I read nonfiction only, and with nonfiction books, it's really interesting is that if you have a system to read them, like, read the first paragraph, read the title, and read the last paragraph, right? And then if you're not interested, you can actually get through a book like that.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is reading to me is not really a punishment, right? Like if you lost interest in a book, that's okay. But my definition of a 100 book challenge is I started from the front cover. I will give it all I have. If I lost interest, if I think this person is not, it's no longer making interesting points, and I drop him.
Okay. So it might be within a chapter. It could be like 2 pages in. It could be 3 pages
Maybe
in, but
maybe halfway in, maybe a
maybe
quarter of the way
halfway.
in.
Yeah. Whatever, but
Maybe
whatever
I
that is. Okay. So I think that's a good point that you bring.
yeah. So maybe I'm almost done, but I don't like the last couple paragraphs or last couple chapters. I just drop them. So the last one is, I'm going to the gym with a tracking notebook now.
Okay.
So like I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast on this Russian guy, Pavel somebody, who's the godfather of kettlebell.
Oh yes. You mentioned in one of your other
Yeah.
podcasts.
So one of the biggest thing that I take away is I need to do more things with the kettlebell, and it's really like his training philosophy, because I was under the impression that, okay, if every single week I can increase the weight of my lifting,
Mm-hmm.
then even though it's like I can add a 5 pounder or I can add a 2 pounder, it's a win for me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's more about lifting the weight, not about building strength.
Mm-hmm.
So like Pavel said, okay, so I want you to start with lower weight. I want you to do more reps. I want you to do more repetition per set as well. So you can actually build a better strength so that you can bump the weight higher for each bump.
Mm-hmm.
But the way
So
I keep
basically, you
track
build
of
your
it,
core first. Your core. You build strength in your various muscle groups that you haven't used, so that
yeah,
you don't what do you call it? You don't shock them. You just don't like
yeah,
next day. You just kind of
I, sorry,
yeah. No.
I,
That's the thing. So yeah, so basically go slow, start small, but get good at that, and then kind of start
yeah.
increasing.
Because I have no ambition to increase my one rep max or whatever that thing is,
Mm.
right? Like I have no interest in like gulping bunch of protein powder to become Mr. Muscle or Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Olympia or bodybuilder. That's not me. Like I go to the gym to mainly to blow out steam, to sweat, do cardio, play basketball. That's pretty much it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when I'm doing some weightlifting, I want to keep track of it. So I know, okay, after this many reps, after this many, tallies, I can bump up to another weight. I want to see how big of a jump I should make. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to keep track of that. So,
Okay, gotcha.
and then one more thing that I implemented with the gym is that, so Pavel said that you should have longer break in between the reps, and you should have more reps,
Mm-hmm.
right? So say you are working a kettlebell on your bicep, right? So after you do a set of 10, and then you can work on your legs for like the next set, and then you come back to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every time that I go to the gym right now, I've been trying this for about a month now. I think it really works. Is that I just listen to podcasts. I listen to audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
So I treated my rep time or the rest time as my chance to learn more via podcasts or audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
So going to the gym become motivating for me because you know how much I love podcasts. I post about them all the freaking time, and it just become a learning opportunity for me, and I love that. So
That's
that's it.
that's great. I know. You mentioned about your 3 most favorite podcasts from last year.
Yeah.
So I think that's so. just before I segue into a different transition and ask you about the question that I've had on my mind for a few days.
Okay.
Ever since I listened to your favorite three podcasts and Joe Freed's favorite three podcasts, resolution. So I did not really make a resolution this year, and it was more of a conscious decision not to make one because I haven't kept any that I in the past. So it was like if I make one, it's not gonna have, it's like I might not keep it. However, so instead of that, I've tried to do some weekly things. So like this week I had a few goals, and one of them was like, oh, I want to kind of build a shelf. I want to cook food. I want to make a homemade meal, and I need to go running. Right. So I'm gonna like I've done two of them. I need to go running in like week to week, Wednesday to Wednesday is my time, So, and I hope to add on things that I like, things that I can kind of. The thought being that eventually things start to just develop a routine. Like, I go to the gym, I go to running every Tuesday or every Monday or something, and it kind of like develops into a habit that way. Instead of giving myself an ultimatum of like, it's a new year, you gotta like do X, Y, Z, and not having I think I suffer from not being able to make a plan that far out. And I suffer from laziness. Like it's just, if things become convenient or thing becomes overwhelming, I won't give priority to like physical needs. Like, for example, going to the gym, that would be like the bottom of my list, my priority list. So just trying to kind of like change how I think a little bit, and to make it more fun. Like, as you said, like if it feels fun, like your book reading, if it does not feel like obligatory, it feels like you can leave it, no judgment, Yeah. And you can continue to find new things that kind of like help you. So, because even with gym, frankly, I've tried it with you, right? Remember we used to go?
Yeah. That was fun times too.
That was fun times, yeah. And then last year I started going out. I think last year I started going out with my other coworkers who were like, yeah, let's go to the gym, and everything was cool for like 4 weeks and 5 weeks, and then it's like, oh, I have to do this work, so I can't make it this one time, and then that kind of grew into like, okay, I'm not going anymore. And then one of the coworkers got a job and left, and the other coworker was doing his own thing, so it was like, okay, well, kind of lost the momentum, lost the motivation.
Right.
So just trying to kind of, so it's like, it's awesome to have other people motivate you and other people help you in your journey. But if your entire dependence is solely on them, then it feels like you will never be able to take up the mantle on your own and run with it, because eventually those people are going to move away.
Yeah.
Then what you're going to do? Like, back to square one, So I think I'm trying to kind of, I think that's my hope this year, is to be able to kind of build up self-discipline, right, and kind of like self-determination, some self-mastery. So, and the only way I feel like I can do is by tricking myself. Like, it's like making things more fun. It's like, oh, I like to do this, so let's do this. It might involve a physical activity. Cool, let's do it. Like this podcast thing is like, okay, well, I understand that you're like, well, it's okay, you don't really care, but it's like, you know what? No, I want to keep it. It's fun to talk to Kevin. I want to I don't want to have it that 2 months go by and it's like, okay, well, it's like, let's keep this ball rolling a bit, kind of pushing myself to kind of like do this. So that's been my resolution, or non. I don't know how to say it, but and I think for people that our listeners and such, I think it's important to kind of give a little bit of thought as to how you work and try to try to kind of like work on your strengths. I mean, if you don't like something and you're forced to do it, there's a pretty good chance that you're not going to end up doing it. So
right.
to kind of to build up that self-discipline and that self-mastery, it's like slowly build up the dose. So
right. First of all, we've done a great job with the podcast. We've done a great job with the summer show.
I think you have done a great job with the RDR show. I mean, and like kudos to both you and Joffrey for doing it for so long.
Yeah, because we just locked. Because I just uploaded a couple of things, and during Christmas time, I just recorded a bunch of solo episodes that are like 10-minute each. So like right now, like counting everything, we probably are doing like around 200 episodes right now, and to me, it's not really about the number. It's really about getting my thoughts more organized. I don't really care how many people listen. But to be honest, like Gary Vee always say, hey, like if you
just
been doing
content.
Yeah, like if you like been doing this business for like last 3 years, and if you're not killing it, then you suck. Hey, I might be sucking. Like I truly, like, I might suck at this podcast thing. Like it's okay, but that's not why I'm doing this for, right? So I'm doing this to keep my relationship with Joffrey rolling, with you rolling, and really help me to solidify some of the idea that I'm knowing, that I'm implementing, and trying to produce content in this day and age. That's my whole goal.
Well,
right?
Exactly, and I think it's kind of to me it's we take it at like a personal level. That's why as I mentioned before, I love listening to you guys because I have a personal connection with you guys, and it's just like, man, I'm listening to my friends even when I'm not there.
Right.
Yeah. I can shout out something, and you guys will never listen to what I shout out because you got the, it's pre-recorded. But it's so kind of like fun to kind of do that. I mean, Joe Rogan's awesome, and I listen to a few of his episodes, but sometimes it gets like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. It's just like, okay.
Right.
So, and some of the other ones like Gary Vee is very focused. Like he is one of those self-help, I mean, he's speaking about from his own experience and things of that sort, but he's like straight up, like, I mean, you guys think you know the shit, but you don't, kind of.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I mean, like circling back to the resolution, I think that's like the reason I'm able to follow through with it, and the reason I'm able to do this year after year, to be honest, is probably coming from my meditation practice, right? And then kind of learn more about it through Sam Harris or Dan Harris or other things, is that you don't have to judge it. I mean, you have to make it as easy for yourself to follow through with it, and then the more you do it, the more that you will get better.
Exactly. Right? I think that's well said. That's really true.
Because like from a meditation perspective, I talk to so many people because I'm in sales. I take notes to my face like 24/7, like every single day. And when I'm training somebody and are new to this, they get upset, right? And then the thing that I'm trying to get them to realize is that first of all, don't get too harsh on yourself. And then every single time I brought up the even chance of meditation to calm their mind, and the first thing that they always tell me is, okay, my mind just go everywhere when I meditate, and it's not work, and it sucks. And then I'm like, you are supposed to do that.
It's supposed to happen the first time.
Yeah, it's supposed to do that. Like it's like watching like a bicep curl, right? Like your thoughts, get flowed away. That's the sign. Okay, cool. I have a bulging thing on my bicep right now. You're supposed to observe it, and then the next time when it happens, then you can, a snap out of it, and then you can recognize it, and then you can make sure it doesn't happen again.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah. So the thing is for me is how deep you want this and how much of an intrinsic motivation you're willing to put to get there, right?
That's true.
And I think you are doing a good job because you're actually handling it reversely. So before you were doing like a big goal, right? Every single year, I have to run a half marathon, whatever your goal is. It seems like not achievable, and then you don't try, right? After a couple of times, lots of motivation. Most people do that, but I do like your approach is that every single week I'm trying to get a routine. Maybe once I get in that routine down, maybe I can strive for a bigger goal, right?
Exactly. So, because
And
it's always it's the same thing about wondering. It's like, once your mind wanders, you think everything is lost, but it's okay. You bring it back bit by bit. You're gonna, like, maybe in 2 years time you will have perfect meditation like pose, and your mind's gonna be focused. But it might take you 2 years, and for some people it might take 10.
yeah,
But it's the act of doing it.
yeah.
That's something to be said with that.
Maybe you can only run half a mile, and then in a month you'll be running 1 mile, and then you'll be like, okay, maybe I will run a 5K by the end of this year, like the turkey run or whatever, right? And then boom, all of a sudden you have a bigger goal, and then you have a resolution. Congratulations, go
I
work
know,
for it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, I haven't, like, since this kind of mentioned, since your podcast about your three favorite podcasts for the year 2019, it kind of made me start to think, and even some of my own podcast habits is, I feel overwhelmed with the content that's out there, and perhaps the expectation that I might have built for myself, or what I perceive, that I have to listen to everything.
No, you don't.
Or I'm missing out. Where it's like, when you mentioned, like, how I gotta, like, start listening to Tim Ferriss. I mean, I gotta start listening to. And Joffrey mentioned some, or you guys mentioned some podcast about finance or money or something like that.
Robin Hood Snacks.
Yeah, it's like Robin Hood Snacks. That's right. And I was like, man, maybe I should try listening to that. And then on my list, I have some that I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. And this starts, like, I have Star Talk from Neil deGrasse Tyson kind of on my thing. I'm like, okay, I got to start listening to that. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is so much things. It's like,
it's true.
It's for me, it's like getting back to my, oh man, it's so much things. And it's always like, if I'm not, like, what podcast should I be listening to? Whether it's something that's going to directly help me, or maybe that's like moths, or like stuff that you should know, whether it's trivia, it's historic, it's not, it's gonna expand my knowledge, but not affect, like, help me anything tangibly in my life. And it's like,
okay,
all of these things that I'm like, I struggle with. I don't know if you struggle with those too, or if you have any thoughts on those, and have you been able to kind of overcome anything?
Yeah, I have a funky story, right? So for the last 2 years that I changed my phone, right? From BlackBerry to BlackBerry, or BlackBerry to Android, my number one thing was, how do I move my podcast to my new phone? How do I make sure that I can have a queue going, right? Because you use Pocket Cast, right? That, like, whenever you can do, like, if you like a podcast, you can do add to next, or add to my play next. So whenever a new episode pop up, then it's already in your feed, ready to go, right? So every single time I change my phone, and then the number one thing is, okay, cool, I need to think how many shows I need to go back in and read down the settings for, right? And kudos to a Pocket Cast for getting my OnePlus 7. Like, the process is actually a lot more smoother this time around. So my point is, I went through a detox as well. Like, I kid you not. Like, before I got my OnePlus 7, my podcast queue was over 100 constantly.
Wow.
It was over 100. And to be fair, a lot of them was I was bored one day and then I was say I listened to Business War, right? So I said, okay, let me flip it through. Okay, I can listen to Pepsi via Cola, and I queued it, and I never made it to it because I'm listening to the daily. Just, every single day I have the episode pop up on you, right? So I've been doing really well on my new phone, not overwhelming myself with the content. Right now I'm listening to Joe Rogan. Surprise, surprise. I have 28 on my podcast feed right now, so I'm doing a lot better in like that regard. Um, so my point is that you don't really have to listen to all the podcasts, and most of the podcasts I don't finish them.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to them, and then like Joe Rogan is a prime example. I don't listen to every single one of his podcasts from start to finish. Game changer one, like the long one with the fighter with the James.
Mm-hmm.
I almost shot it off like twice during the middle because I was like, I cannot take it anymore. Like those two guys are just arguing about this whole thing.
I know. I had to do it in pieces. I was like, I can't watch it in
Right?
one go.
And it's the same thing with a reading. If you lost your interest, you can just click done, and then it'll be done. Moved on to the next one, right? So with podcasts, it really depends on what you like and what you don't like, right? For example, like Summer, like let's do this right now. Like, what is your obsession right now? Like, which area of interest you want to get to know better right now?
You know, okay. So I'll kind of these are the ones that I had for my 2018, 2019. Sorry, you know. So the ones that I listened to a lot was like Joe Rogan,
Right.
Lore
Okay.
is from Aaron Mahnke.
Okay.
Surprise, surprise, the RDR show.
Yep, you're a constant listener, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and
Queued
then
up.
the fourth one that I started listening to more was the Science of Happiness.
Oh, is it the Happiness Lab with Laura Sanchez? Is that one?
This is with, let's see. No, this is Science and Medicine. It's with PRX and Greater Good Science Center, that's located in Berkeley, UC Berkeley.
Okay, I see.
I would really recommend this, you know. Some of the other ones that I like, what you asked me is like, what am I interested in? Like, I'm interested in real estate.
Okay.
And I have the Bigger Pockets on my homepage as well. And I've only listened to 2 episodes.
Okay.
Or maybe 3. And I was talking to my wife about this very thing, and I was like, I feel like if I listen to more of that, it feels like I need to put their advice, or I need to put things in action.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Where it's like, you know, where if I listen to Lore, for example, it's just stories. There's nothing to put into action, and maybe I can take some principles here and there, but it's just so yeah. I just feel like I have this sense of expectation from myself that now you have this knowledge. What are you going to do with it?
Right.
If you know, so
But
that answers your question.
but do you get joy from learning more about perspective on real estate? Like, do you get enjoyment out of that?
I do. I think I do enjoy listening to them and getting a different perspective.
Then keep listening to it.
I just don't like the expectation. That's the thing is I just have to. I'm trying to figure out how to not have the expectation of you can listen to it and you can implement the advice on your own time.
I think
or not like.
I think from this conversation about reading, about running, about listening to podcasts, is that Summer, I think you're judging yourself too harshly.
Yes. And sorry, I am very critical of myself. You know.
Who cares?
That's why I have the Science of Happiness. because it's like talking about self-compassion and self-love. It's like I gotta listen to it, man. Like, I gotta give myself love.
Who freaking cares that you finish a real estate podcast or not? Who freaking cares if like run a 5K by the end of the year or not? Who freaking cares if you cut your hairs or not this year or become a monk?
And do you want me to cut my hair?
I do, actually. I do want to cut your hair. I like the short hair version of Summer better. But the thing is that, whatever you feel like doing, do it. Like auto cue the RDR show or don't listen to it at all. I don't care. Well, I can tell you this: Joffrey doesn't listen to every single episode.
Right. Probably
he doesn't, and I'm okay with that because if he's not interested in it, then maybe he doesn't even have to be on it, right? But like we still do it because it's the recording that makes sense. Does he really want to listen to it? I don't care, right? But as a co-host, I should care because I want your input on how this sound. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So like the biggest thing is that to realize that nobody cares, Summer. Truly, nobody cares.
That's Gary Reed talking there.
That's true. And I totally agree with him.
Yeah, and that's something like. Thank you. I mean, that's something. It's good to hear that from. It's not that I didn't know that. It's just good to hear out loud from somebody else too, and that's kind of what I'm going to try to work on is just listen to whatever. The thing is like, what podcast specifically on Joe Rogan, because we both listen to it, do you have queued up?
So right now with Joe Rogan, what I have set up is I do the auto cue.
Okay.
So whenever they have something pop up, I listen to it if it's not an MMA fight complaining. I don't listen to that at all. Joffrey does.
Okay.
Okay. So whenever that Joe Rogan have something pop up, I will at least listen to it, right? For example, like the last one that I finished, I really liked was the one with Bill Maher.
Oh, okay. I was like looking at that 1413. So
yeah, that one I really like because they dive into the whole Me Too movement, the whole wife and trophy wife. It was getting too far. Like the guys are getting screwed by the divorce lawyer, all that fun stuff. I think as a married man, I think you probably should listen to that.
So, maybe.
So like that one, I almost turned it off 20 minutes in because they're talking about showbiz. I have no idea what they're talking about, right? And then as a free-flowing conversation should be, they talk about divorces, they talk about other stuff, right? So with Joe Rogan, I always give it a shot, but how far I made it, I don't care, right? Like this one I'm listening to is on Rob Carney. It's the latest one, and he is the world strongest gay man. So he actually compete at the world strongest man competition, but he's the first one that's openly say, "Hey, I'm gay."
Oh, okay.
So this one is actually really interesting because from his perspective, he's a manly guy, right? He's not some kind of a queer little guy that's that is queer. But this is this is a tough guy who is having to be gay, and his perspective on it is super interesting. So like I'm gonna finish this one. I'm already like an hour and 6 minutes in, and there's like 55 minutes left. But I'm gonna finish this one for sure.
So you mentioned you listen to your podcast when you're going to the gym, right?
Yeah.
That's one of your times that you listen to. What are some other places or times that you listen to?
I have my podcast playing 24/7.
Even if it's in the background, you just let it play.
Yeah, I listen to it once I wake up after I'm done with meditating in the morning. I just hit play. I'm brushing my teeth. Well, this is one of the privilege of me living by myself, right? Nobody cares, right? So I just hit play. like my daily cues are the Robin Hood snacks, uh, the NPR daily podcast, like the Up First, and the daily. Gary Vee gave me the daily dose, but I don't really listen to Gary Vee that often anymore. I just skip him. And then, whenever there's a long form one, like Joe Rogan pop on, I will listen to him. I may skip it, I might not. But like whenever like the Dave Chang show is on or like the Tim Ferriss show, I always listen to the whole thing.
Gotcha.
Right. So it depends. So I kind of treat it as the background noise that can fill the void because when I'm cooking, I might watch Netflix. I was watching Grace and Frankie today when I was having dinner before hop onto the podcast. So it depends.
Okay, I'm curious to see how that will change when you have a significant other.
That's true.
Like, I mean, it's just it might not change at all. It might change significantly. Because for me, I'm trying to carve out me time, my time, and it usually gets like my wife is listening to Netflix or something, and if I start playing something else, it's for me it's a lot of sounds, which they're competing with each other.
I got an idea. Then you go out for a run, listen to podcasts.
Which is again, when I am doing stuff by myself, which goes to running or going to the gym or something like that, then I'll play a podcast. But I mean, like in general, like you said, like you could have it playing in your background, you're on, 24/7. I just had to figure out like, and that restricts what kind of content and how many podcasts or I listen to. The other thing that I feel like I listened to quite a few audiobooks last year, like just traveling, and that's something like I like fiction, I like science fiction, and maybe I want to pick up one or two more audiobooks and kind of like try to listen to it.
Good. And then I think that should be a good motivator for you as well, like, and try to align it with whatever you're trying to do, right? Say every day you got home before your wife gets home or something, you go for a quick run or turn on a podcast. Or when you are driving, because I drive all the time too, like from work to different event, from event to home. Like I'm able to knock out some podcast content as well, right? Like right now, like, I'm literally considering canceling my Tidal subscription because I don't listen to it that often anymore.
Yeah, I mean that's like I never bought a Spotify subscription because I was like, I don't think if I get a better podcast thing, I don't listen to a ton of songs. So
who knows? So, but that could be like a good motivator for you in terms of, okay, like how do I morph my desire trying to listen to more, to know more about the world through podcasts? How do I assign it to some kind of activity so I can kill two birds with one stone? Right?
I think that's interesting. Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm gonna try to do that. So, wow, whew. This is good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Thanks for. Yeah, it's a lot of content out there. It's easy for people to get overwhelmed and have the feeling like if they don't listen to something or don't watch something that they're left out.
I mean,
but at the end of the day, it's you do you.
Yeah, that's just BS because like Joffrey likes MMA stuff, and then I don't, so I don't really listen to any podcasts. But pretty much 80% of his podcast following are all MMA related.
Yep. Right? Which is quite interesting if you listen to his last MMA podcast, the Conor McGregor's comeback fight. It's quite interesting. Where he has to wait in line for 3 hours, or he's given just like, okay, that's fine. And then when he broke down the fight, and it was like, man, he knows his stuff. Like,
he does, and he's actually going to the gym. He's actually working on Muay Thai right now, and all that fun stuff, right? Like this is his hobby, right? And I'm okay with that. He He doesn't have to listen to RDR show at all if he doesn't want to. But if he still wants to do it with me, then I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
think that's fun. How did your wine party came to be?
So
Um,
so the wine thing was interesting because I was, I bought a book, right? I will have a bunch of solo episodes. I'm gonna launch a solo series called How to Live Forever soon. I already got the audio recording done, but I haven't scheduled it yet, right? So, um, I was reading this book, right, called Lifespan, right? Like, um, why aging is a disease and we don't have to age,
mhm.
right? So, and then what did I tell you this, or like how I got into this whole 120-year-old
No,
project thing?
no. You mentioned about reading some doctor's thing or something
Okay.
like that, but like
Okay.
that was fascinating. That's what I wanted to kind of like segue into
Okay.
was
So,
uh,
so here's the
give
story, right,
about
Summer?
that.
Is that when I was little, when I was in China, one of my dad's best friends, like
Mhm.
he grew up together. Whenever his my dad's friends was staying by Beijing, then he and my dad would hang out. We usually go to the restaurant, and I usually go with them, you know. And then it's like a pretty ritual thing. Like every single time that he comes back to Beijing, we hang out. We go out to a meal. So I was fairly, familiar with him, right? His name is Li Yong, right? Um, and what happened was, this is a short memory of mine, is that, when I was little, I was like 10, he was like 30 something, like early 40, late 30.
Mhm.
And I remember this about him distinguishedly is that he was telling everybody, not only my dad, say, hey pal, I'm only gonna live till 60. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna smoke, I'm only gonna live till I'm 60. That was his tagline that I remember from his
Mhm.
action. Right? So he's putting that out to the world every single time that I met him. Same thing. Even like his wife are saying the same thing. Yeah, my husband only gonna live till he's 60. He's gonna eat. He's gonna do this. He's gonna do that. I was like, cool. I didn't know much about it.
Mhm.
Okay. Guess what? He's 59 this year. Okay. He got stage 4 intestine cancer,
Oh.
and then he is going through chemo right now. And my dad, went to see him, and then like one of my phone calls, and my dad would start crying because it was his best friend growing up,
Mhm.
but now he doesn't have that many days left. And then I tell my dad, I say, this is what you get when you put that information out to the universe. You ask what you get. Law of attraction, right? You get what you get. If you're saying, hey, I'm gonna live till 60, guess what? You're gonna die this year or like next year because you want to live till you're 60,
Mhm.
right? So that was my biggest motivation because I'm thinking about myself. I really value my time on this earth, right? Like I've been doing this, health situation, right? Like I switched out of medicine because of I want to have a more balanced lifestyle. I
Mhm.
want to get more sleep. I want to work out. I want to drink more tea. I want to eat more vegetables. I want myself to be well on this earth for as long as possible,
Mhm.
right? And then after reading David Sinclair's book on lifespan, how we age and how we don't have to, that to me is like a wake up call. I was like, I can actually do this, right? I can actually make it to 120, maybe upload my consciousness to the cloud and I live forever, right?
That's true. Okay. Oh,
I can
we'll go
actually
with
do
that.
this,
Yeah.
right? It's a positive. Like maybe when I'm 50, maybe I cannot do anymore. Like I'm still telling my mom, I say, Mom, you gotta work out. You gotta go outside and run and like have some sweat because like you can make it to 122, right? So that's what kicks in about this situation is I want to put out that energy that I want to live forever to hopefully I can get what I want.
Mhm.
Now I really want to live till 120 is that this one will actually help my intuition, my idea, my belief on keeping a balanced lifestyle, keep a healthy
Mhm.
lifestyle. So that's the driving motivation behind everything. Now, the wine thing was interesting because on the book, they're telling, okay, so aging is a loss of information, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there has to be some kind of an epigenetic noise. I guess I don't have to translate to you. You kind of know what that means, right? Epigenetic noise. So that the cells lose identity, so they behave differently. Boom, we
Mm-hmm.
have aging, right? So one of the things that they found that can at least as what's called prevent or stabilize epigenetic noise is a thing called NAD, right? NAD plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? There's some wine, that red wine has a lot of NAD. But is it going to be enough wine to help me live forever? Probably not. But as of this stage of the game, I don't want to take NAD supplements just yet
Okay.
because the technology is not there yet, right? So, like another thing is I'm a lover of tea, right? You
Mm-hmm.
saw my thing, and I do feel like my palate for tea, I have a pretty trained palate for tea. And I'm thinking maybe I can convert that into wine.
Okay.
And I'm thinking maybe I can convert that into wine tasting, not drinking, but tasting,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you see kind of how I shape two of my interests into one action. And then another thing is Joffrey loved it. Joffrey says, I want to get into wine too. And then his girlfriend is like, I want to do it too. All right,
I mean, I
fine.
was surprised how much Rose was like, yeah, no,
I
this
know.
is cheap wine.
So I guess everybody is happy. I want to live forever. I want to know more about this NAD thing. Joffrey wants to do it. I want to see how far I can carry myself into wine tasting and telling
Mm-hmm.
different regions of grape, different years. It's like killing 5 stones with one bird. Well,
That's
killing
smart. That's
5 birds
clever.
with 1 stone. Why not? Let's do it. And then we done it for the first time. It was on a podcast. The wine sucked. I
Yeah,
was drunk. I
the
was
bottle
freaking
looks
drunk.
cool.
I cannot drive home. Like I was literally like hang out at Joffrey's till like 1, and then
Oh,
I can finally drive home, and I
oh,
hated it.
oh.
But hey guys, what? We are doing a series. I have to take one for the team,
Oh,
right?
you gotta.
So
So,
so so the so the next thing that we're gonna try, I'm gonna actually try to make a whole event out of it. I'm gonna go buy steak. We're gonna get
like,
a nice like filet mignon. We're gonna cook. We're gonna eat. We're gonna drink wine. We're gonna talk. We're gonna do podcasts. So we're gonna make a whole event out of it. Kind of like me going to the gym with audiobooks. Same situation.
you make it an event. You make it fun.
So
Make it
so
more.
that's the background on everything I just talked about.
That's
So
good. Thanks for sharing. I was really interested in kind of like knowing a little bit more about that, kind of a backstory as to why you guys did that. I mean, it's don't be surprised if some of these podcasts become like talk about the background as to why you did this in your podcast or you did that.
yeah. And
So
and
like
and 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 I'm happy to share that, right? Because that's what the show is all about. So
that's perfect. Kevin, I think I don't have a lot more time.
okay,
I have to kind of do some homework and do some other chores around the house. So,
all right. It seems
uh,
like an hour mark is our sweet spot, huh?
yeah, I think an hour and R15 is probably like where we should, what I usually try to shoot for too. So,
All right.
so, but
Perfect.
yeah, I think it's well, I don't, but if it ever becomes 2 hours or 4 hours, I will not complain. So,
but if you're mindful that if you don't want it to be too long, then we cannot get to 2 hours or 4 hours.
well, that's true. That is
Uh,
true.
And
So.
I'm not advertising that, but uh,
No. You're totally fine. So, um, but yeah, it's like when you have significant others, you have to
I
be
know,
like
I know. Yeah.
careful of all these other things. My wife is awesome. She lets me do this, and she encourages me to do this. So I'm really appreciating
Really?
that about her. But
Why should encourage you to do this?
Because it's a mode of self-care, of connecting.
Okay.
It's like instead of me just, I could spend this time playing video games or doing nothing, or like I may end up not being productive in a way.
Okay.
So this is more about like this is self-care for me. It's like connecting with you, like developing our relationship, our friendship more, getting to know what you're up to, and it's like I take time for myself, like where I sit and I don't have to worry about doing chores or like
Right.
that hour and a half is for me.
Okay. So it's your me time. It's your getting
My
your
me time.
self-reflecting time. Okay.
My me time. So.
Last question. Does she listen to podcasts too?
She does, but she listens to different kind of podcasts. So she listens to like the Moth. She'll listen to stuff that they don't tell you.
Okay. It's
Um,
not media.
yeah, there's one that she listens to. She also listens to lore. She listens to this one called Espionage. It talks about spy stuff, real world
Yeah,
spy stuff.
I listened to that stuff. It was actually pretty funky.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So she's a lot more interested in those kinds.
okay.
I have been like, hey, listen to my show, and she's like, I've listened to it someday.
Okay. Well, can I throw some wild ideas out there?
Oh yeah, sure, go for it.
Can you get her on the podcast next time during the summer show?
I would definitely talk to her about it. So
Because I want to know how you guys met. That's the one thing I want to know. But we don't have to talk about that. If she doesn't want to, don't want to put it on the podcast, we can do it on the Skype before we start rolling or something. But I want to know that. Cool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll get her on next time. So
All right.
and maybe we can just go out for dinner. And
Yeah, that's fine.
I personally like to go out with you and kind of meet you in person because it's a better me time. But you know what? Technology makes this work. So
I know. Okay. So next time I will bring the mic. We can all hang out. We can go eat something, and then we can go to Rose Park, see your new house. We set up something and we record. So
okay, that works. So
all right, I'm excited now. All right.
Okay.
Cool. All
right,
Summer.
guys.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Always a pleasure. It's my pleasure. So
awesome. Perfect. Yeah, I mean, we do this every 2 or 3 weeks, and then yeah, just keep it rolling, man.
Keep it rolling.
No expectations at all.
No expectations. We'll just keep it rolling. So
perfect.
Okay, guys, this is Summer signing off.
It's kind of signing off. Have a great one, guys.